Hello, my name is Haley Cooney, and this is my first Word on the Street video for Professor Rowe's Intro to Communication Studies course. The theory I'm choosing to talk about today is Walter Fisher's theory of the narrative paradigm. To start off with, Fisher sees the narrative paradigm as storytelling. Fisher would argue that we could understand all of human discourse and text through the reference to this narrative concept. Fisher also believes that all forms of discourse can be considered stories, which are the interpretations of some aspects of the world occurring in time and shaped by history, culture, and character. The narrative paradigm is an organizing framework for human communication, and it could be used to understand universal processes of human communication as well. Overall, the narrative paradigm is really just a general way of understanding how humans interact and behave within their social world. The important features of the narrative paradigm are described by Fisher through contrast, which he refers to as the rational world paradigm. The rational world paradigm is characterized thinking within the realms of both science and rhetoric. An analysis of the narrative rationality breaks down into two categories, which are the narrative coherence and narrative fidelity. Narrative coherence deals with the integrity of the story structure. With narrative coherence, it really considers the issues. And then there is narrative fidelity that deals with the truthfulness of the story. And there are really 5 dimensions within narrative fidelity, which are questions of fact, questions of relevance, questions of consequence, questions of consistency, and questions of transcendence. And I think the fidelity aspect is really important because throughout life you're going to hear many stories, and you have to make the good judgment on whether or not you believe them or not, and if the stories include supporting facts. So a real life example where this theory applies is, well, growing up, you don't know the world fully yet because you haven't had much experience. Growing up, using myself as an example, if I had done something wrong, my dad would sit me down and talk to me and tell me a similar story from when he was younger and the negative consequences that had happened to him. So this was a way to try and get me to not do it again, and I believe my dad's story because it was personal to me. He presented me with facts and actual consequences he experienced, and it just made for an overall believable story. So the precise connection between the narrative paradigm theory and this example is that it follows the concept of storytelling and how it contains narrative coherence and narrative fidelity. I feel that this example can help others understand what the narrative paradigm theory is a little bit easier because it takes a real life example, and many could probably relate to this while growing up, and then it applies it to the theory. So in other words, it helps bring the concept to life in a way we are familiar with. So with that being said, this was my video on Walter Fisher's narrative paradigm. Thank you for watching.